So I did my video presentation on Chapter 10, which covered policy uncertainty during the presidency of Bill Clinton during the early 90s. He campaigned in 1992. He ran on a liberal agenda, increasing spending on a lot of social programs. He's very obsessed with power since the beginning of his political career in his youth. Um, he got a lot of young campaigning experience. He was the youngest governor elected at age 32 in 4 decades in 1978. Um, However, in 1995 or 1994, he was defeated, or House Republicans took control um, of Congress, and they basically had a contract with America that outlined a lot of proposals of legislation that contradicted Bill Clinton's platform, and they got most of it passed in their first 100 days of that year. So Bill Clinton's second term, he really didn't have many social policy accomplishments like he promised. Once Republicans took power, they were able to pass all of this stuff through the budget process and how things work. Bill Clinton would submit a proposed budget for the fiscal year at the beginning of the year, and the Congress would vote on it in their committees. So a lot of things would get changed by the time it came out of Congress. Um, and he lost a lot of power in vetoing certain pieces of legislation that attacked women's reproductive rights and other oppressed groups. There was a lot of anti-crime legislation that got passed that was Republican backed, but went against Bill Clinton's platform. That made deportation of illegal aliens. If they were convicted felons, they funded expansion of police forces, and there were a few things that he did that protected women's rights in the sense of he protected them in domestic violence situations in that anti-crime bill and things of that nature. But their reproductive rights really came under fire by conservatives during this time period, and he did not do much to protect them. Another one of the policies that he struggled with was the military spending that began to rise after falling somewhat in earlier years of the administration. There was also a lot of pressure during this time period from Republicans to attack legislation that protected persons of color and their access to welfare and things of that nature. And Bill Clinton, again, did not really do much to prevent a lot of this. Not that he necessarily could, but there was a lot of things that he let happen, and there was legislation that he promised to get passed that ended up not getting passed. There was a lot of uncertainty in this time period. Um, Granted, no administration really illustrates the battle for resources faced by liberals more dramatically than this administration. He had a lot of opposition, and he deserves credit for the few, pieces of legislation that he did get passed, and during the, political climate that existed at this time period, much like the one that exists today, it was very divided. So, um, if liberals mostly liked Clinton, conservatives detested him and even voted in the House to impeach him. And everyone wondered if the stalemate of the 90s would continue into 2000, which it actually did. But in conclusion, there was a lot of things that occurred during this time period, and for the most part, Bill Clinton wasn't able to work around a lot of them. He did some things, but all in all, this time period really just illustrates the uncertainty that existed in this country, and it was enacted and shown in the policies of Bill Clinton as he was, most popularly supported and voted president, but he was never really able to get anything passed